My name is Father Michael Stalla. I am the spiritual director for Hope's Garden. Today's question that we're going to cover has to do with fasting. Fasting is a way of building up your ability to resist temptation. It is also a way of building up our desire to do what is right, even when it's hard to do. So in essence, it's about discipline. So a lot of times we have to develop discipline in our lives. We don't feel like studying, but we're going to study anyway because the test is coming. If you don't learn that discipline, you'll never be in time for the test, you'll never pass, and you can't do it. So the fact that you pass tells us that you learned discipline. The same thing about like getting physically in shape. If you don't have some sort of discipline, you end up getting sick. And if you go to the doctors and they say there's a heart condition, they're going to say, now you need to do these exercises. You got to do them. You got to do them because your life depends upon it. Now, if you don't have discipline, you won't be able to do that and you're going to die. So you need to develop those disciplines. Fasting is about a spiritual discipline. I need to stay focused. I got to stay away from all the distractions. And that means I got to set time every day, multiple times a day to pray, to think about God. Usually when we're talking about fasting, we're talking about food. We're talking about not eating, or at least eating so little that you maintain a bit of hunger. And the idea behind that hunger is every time I feel hungry, I pray. I realize that I am sacrificing for something greater, that my desire to eat doesn't control me, but I take the discipline of saying, even though this is hard, I will do what my spiritual work is a priority for me. So I'm no longer a slave to my desires, to the distractions, but that I can stay focused on that which is good and holy and that which the Lord is asking for. That being said, fasting doesn't actually have to be about food. It could be about other things. I have noticed that I get a little too attached to my telephone. Now that we got the iPhones and they're like little computers and you can look up a million things and you can text a million people. There's just so much distraction. Think about how hard it is not to look at your phone when that thing is beeping and you're in a good conversation with somebody else. And you're talking to them, but you're listening to that zin, 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 beeping on your phone. You're distracted and want to pick up the phone. Don't do it. So you could fast from your phone. I mean, there's actually a certain calmness about us to say, should you imagine leaving the phone at home today? I mean, on the one side, it brings us anxiety. What am I going to miss? On the other side, what a freedom. I think that's not a bad idea. That would be a cool fasting. There's a sacrifice to it, but it builds to a healthier me. And it builds a little bit of self-discipline where I'm getting distracted all the time. There's the things that I really want, and then the things that kind of keep me from doing what I want. And this is going to help focus me. And every chance that I have to when I want to go to my phone and I don't, is a prayer. I turn to the Lord and I say, I offer you this. There can be other things as well. And anything that you really enjoy that if you stopped doing wouldn't harm you. Fasting is not about harming you. It's about a sacrifice of something that I don't really need. When I had a chance to walk El Camino de Santiago, I walked 500 miles across Spain. You really get a sense that you really don't need much of anything. All I really needed to do was take care of these feet. As long as my feet were good, we could keep walking. I didn't really have to worry about anything else. What do you really need in life? And there is so often that we keep thinking we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And fasting has a lot to do with what do you really need? What do you really need? These other things, they're nice, but they can be distractions. Remember what you're really about. What's your priority? And to let these other things go, or at least be free enough to let them go. So I want you to imagine for a moment that somebody comes in and says, listen, we want you to stay on at this work. And you say, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to work here anymore. I've done it for so long. I'm done. I want to spend more time with my family. They said, well, we're going to give you $10,000 more a year. I've met with a lot of people who have told me how difficult it is for them to turn that down because they've become a bit addicted to the paycheck. And the more they offer, the more it's like, how do I get away from this? To which case I would say, you need to do a little bit of fasting. You should be free enough to choose your goal without anybody being able to manipulate you with anything. Free to choose the way that you know is right instead of feeling trapped by these forces. So fasting has a lot to do with that. How can I get free enough to make choices and priorities that really aim for the goals of my life in a prayerful way instead of feeling manipulated or a lack of discipline for the passions or for the other things in this world that really pull me in the wrong direction, preventing me from reaching those goals.